This is Eduardo. Today I want to update you on the situation in Myanmar. As you may have heard, there's right now a military coup happening there. They have arrested and jailed their elected leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, and the situation there is escalating. Now there are tanks rolling through the streets, their internet is being cut off at certain times of the day, and there's alleged arrests going on in the middle of the night. I wanted to take an opportunity to speak with some of the residents, and here it is. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for taking time to do this, Charles. I know right now you've kind of taken the role of, I guess, partial activist there. You've been helping package food for some of the protesters there, right?
Yes, we've been, me and my roommate have been packing food in the morning with the help of other friends. And we just go near Sule Pagoda, which is one of the main center of protestation. And we just hand out food at lunchtime to help people continue, because people start around 8 or 9 in the morning usually, and they go around the whole city. So they go from one protest point to another. So it takes hours and hours, and usually these people are either not working, so they're not receiving a salary, or they've been laid off. A number of civil servants have already been laid off when they joined the disobedience movement.
What about in terms, I guess, of your own personal employment? How's life for you there? We also heard about possibility of the ATM shutting down. I mean, how is just like everyday life there going for you?
Yeah, well, it has changed, except for the first day of the coup, where there was no internet, no ATM, and no other facility was available. The first week of the coup was weirdly very normal. The first week we had no protests, the internet was back, and the military junta appointed a new government the first day of the coup, and everything was working smoothly. And it only started, the protests only started on the Saturday and the weekend after, when they shut down the internet again. And since then, it has changed quite a lot. My office is closed for security reasons, because my office is in downtown. It's been a bit harder to join clients, etc. And personally, I don't know. So I work for a foreign company for foreign investors mostly as a lawyer, and I think that work will dry up pretty quickly. So I'm expecting I might be laid off in the coming weeks or months, depending on the situation.
Okay. Well, what would happen in those cases? Are there still like flights like that are leaving there, or what's the situation in that sense?
Yeah. So the first 3 days, I think, of the internet was completely shut down, even for really flights. And now they have allowed some companies to operate really flights to Seoul and Bangkok again. So I think there is 1 or 2 a week that you can take to escape or to go home if you want to. So far, I don't know of any embassies that have issued a recommendation to evacuate of their own nationals. Maybe that will change. I think last night some tanks were seen on the streets, and so I saw right before the interview that the US embassy and the EU embassy had issued a statement asking their nationals to stay home and stay confined, pending what will happen in the coming hours or days.
I saw that as well. How are you feeling? How's the atmosphere? How's the vibe on the streets? Are people scared? Are people still resilient?
Yeah, it was. Last week I became a bit hopeful, because the protest started and I saw that the people, were starting to protest against the coup. So it gave me quite a lot of hope. It became slightly worrying on Friday and Saturday. So apparently they released a bunch of prisons and gave them crystal meth. So, for instance, on Saturday, they came in the downtown and in many neighborhoods around Yangon, and they were instructed to break what they could and start fires if they could. So all the men in the neighborhood went and they guarded the ends of each street. And the women, were, as soon as they spotted someone on the streets, were banging their pots to attract attention to that. And you had all the men on the street, so it was quite impressive. Really, yeah, I didn't see, I didn't think I would see that, in my life. And last night, a lot of people thought it might happen again. So last night there were guys, they had made makeshift shields with like plies of wood, and they put like handles in there to have them. So they were at the end of the street guarding them with a stick, just in case, they were coming back last night.
Wow, that seems pretty intense. So prisoners getting given crystal meth to just like wild out and break things.
Yeah, well, it's quite common. I think crystal, Myanmar does produce a lot of crystal meth. Right. It's been used a lot. It was used apparently in '88 during the last main uprising. And it's used a lot by the National Army and also apparently by some ethnic armies which are in civil war with the Union government. They give crystal meth to their soldiers to push them to go to combat.
Oh wow! Okay, interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, what should people know? Like, is there anything that people outside of Myanmar can do? What would you recommend? Like, what can everyone else do that's watching this unfold?
I think it's very interesting to see here. I think people, when I talk to people, they look a lot at what, the UN or the US are saying or were doing. I think the fact that there was no firm condemnation of the coup by the UN Security Council was a real disappointment for people. And now they're trying to see, like, who can do something for us. And I have a lot of colleagues and friends who post on anything they find on Facebook, anything that Joe Biden posted or anything that an ambassador posted in the comments. They put like requests to put a focus on Myanmar so people start doing something. Last night, the last few days in the protests, are starting to see, some signs that were asking for the US army to come and overthrow the junta and restore democracy in the country. On Facebook, I see more and more, that there was a meme that was circulating a lot this weekend. You had, Bush had Saddam Hussein killed, Obama was Bin Laden, Trump had General Soleimani in Iran, and it's time for Joe Biden to get Min Aung Hlaing, the head of the military junta, killed, I guess. So I think people are really asking for people to come help them, and it really feels desperate. So I think that's something that can be done. There are also a number of pages if you can donate money to help the civil servants that are, out of a job, cope and get by with a few donations if possible. And there are links all around the internet. I'm happy to send some to you if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. All right. And well, I mean, there's a military coup happening, but on top of that, there's still COVID. So I just want to kind of check in on what's the situation like there.
Yeah, so COVID, Myanmar has actually been relatively spared by COVID. At least at the beginning, the second wave in September was much harsher than that people were expected to. And the hospitals here are not very developed. There are not a lot of ventilators. So I think that was a bit of a worry. The infection rate was going down before the coup, so it was very positive. We were still officially on lockdown in the main cities of Yangon and Mandalay. It was going much better. Now I think people are not getting tested as much, and even though at protest every single person I saw was wearing a mask, I think maybe the protests, will create a spike in infections again. One thing I can tell you is that the doctors were the first one to join the civil disobedience movement. That was a big pressure on the government because they're the one handling the COVID fight right now.
All right. Anything else that you would like to add about what is going on, or anything else that you would like to say about what's happening right now in Myanmar?
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Listen, what I can say is that I think I finally understand when people feel that nobody is doing anything about a tragedy. I see like how desperate people are here and saying that there's been nothing done yet so far except a few statements by foreign countries. It's disheartening to see that nothing's being done to help Myanmar at the moment.
And I guess slightly touching on a personal level here, what have you been in touch with your family? Like, what are they saying to you, or what's that situation like?
Yeah, yeah. So people are a bit worried. I think they do not also necessarily have an understanding of what is happening on the ground from what they're reading online. I think some of the reports, at least until before this weekend, were more alarmist than the actual situation on the ground was. At least from what I saw. But I think, yes, I think they're very worried. I'm one of the lucky ones. I think if things go sour, I can more easily exit than the people who truly have a plan B.
Okay. One last question. So you were able to confirm some of that thing about the prisoners being let out. We've heard that news report. Another news report that I've heard was that they are like rounding up and arresting people at midnight. Have you heard anything about that, or can confirm that?
Apparently last week there were a number of arrests, and it increased apparently towards the end of last week, so Thursday, Friday. I didn't see any personally, but I have some friends who reported that there was some in their neighborhood. And it was quite apparently when they saw that people were coming to come arrest, everybody gathered around the house of the person being arrested, banging their pots to attract attention and put pressure on policemen. I'm not sure that really worked, unfortunately. And the government has abolished all civil liberties and political liberties. So with the new regulations enacted by the Special Administrative Council, which took over the role of the parliament and cabinet here, the police now has the right to enter your house without a warrant, to seize all your personal data from telecommunication companies. So they can do everything they want, basically, from now on, without a judge or the judiciary controlling their activities. So that is indeed very, very worrying for freedom of the press, for freedom of speech, for everyone who wants to express their disagreement with what is happening.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add, but
No, thank you for calling and spread the word, Eddie.
Yeah, for sure, and stay safe over there. I keep on seeing that, and I can't believe like I was there a couple of years ago, and it's a beautiful country, and so it's heartbreaking to see this happening right now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for your time, and yes, stay safe.
Thanks, Eddie.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.